Hi, my name is Leah and I'm traveling from the far north of Canada to the far south of Argentina on this beauty, a Royal Enfield Himalayan from 2021. I'm right now in Mexico and it's been very exactly 21,647 kilometers since the beginning of this trip. So I've ridden through very straight highways, through very windy mountain roads and through very challenging dirt tracks. So I felt like today was a good day to share my thoughts about that bike, to tell you a little bit more about it, tell you why I chose it, what do I like about it, why do I not like about it, why I changed on it, and find out if, yes or no, this is the ideal bike for this adventure. I'm traveling with my husband Quentin, who has the exact same bike, same model, same year, just in a different color, and we both bought them second-hand in Canada. Just a quick introduction about this bike. This bike has been clearly designed for the adventure. Just the name Himalayan is a good clue, right? It's powered by a 411cc single-cylinder engine that delivers 24.3 horsepower and 32 Newton meters of torque. If that talks to you, it doesn't to me. This is nothing overwhelming, but it's just good enough to be able to go on any kind of road. It has long travel suspension, 200mm in the front and 180 in the back, which is perfect to soak up like bumps on very rough roads. We both are very heavily loaded, but we kept on both bikes the original suspension and we're happy with that. We could have upgraded them to have a little bit more comfort on the road, but honestly they are good enough for us. It also features a 21-inch front wheel and a 17-inch rear wheel paired with dual sport tires to be good both on road and gravel, and it weighs 199 kilograms, which is a little bit heavier than some dual sport bikes like that, but which is really still manageable even when you're not the strongest, like me. When I was planning this trip, I had two bikes in mind, the Honda CRF 300L Rally or the Himalayan. I had several criteria. The first one was the weight. I wanted something under 200 kilograms. I actually rode on a Himalayan before buying this one, so I knew it was both manageable and stable. The second criteria was the height, because I am 1.68 m and so not the tallest, and I still can touch the ground, so not on full feet, but it's just good enough to maneuver it, and I didn't have to change the saddle. The third criteria was the simplicity of the bike. I wanted something with not too much electronic and something with easily accessible spare parts, especially because Quentin and I are beginners when it comes to mechanic. We're learning as we go, and yeah, so we wanted something very, very simple, and the Himalayan filled that criteria. Then we had also the versatility. I wanted something that could go everywhere. I didn't want to feel limited by my bike. So after riding thousands of kilometers on the highway and 1,000 kilometers of dirt road, I can tell that it's a success. The bike handled both of it very well. Then the budget was also a criteria. Obviously, we are both travel budget, and the bike new can be bought for about $6,000, and we both found them second-hand then for approximately $4,000, and Quentin's bike already had some accessories So that was quite good deals. Then I wanted also a big tank because we're traveling sometimes in very remote places, and this tank is 15 liters. So that means we can ride approximately between 300 and 400 kilometers in one go, so it's honestly very good. We also have a jerry can, 5 liters extra each, and we barely use it. Actually, we use it for our stove because we cook with a fuel stove. So that's mostly why we keep carrying it. And then the last criteria was the look. It is not top priority, yes, but let's be honest, this bike looks cool. I really like the timeless design of Royal Enfield and the touch of adventure of this bike. I really love it. I think it's very beautiful. We did a few accessories on both bikes. First of all, we added a side stand enlargers that makes it very stable when we park on sand, mud, or I don't know, wet grass. Even when the bikes are very heavily loaded, they don't fall over. We also have hand guards that protects the hands from like debris or rocks when we're riding off-road, and a little bit from the wind as well on the highways. We both have engine bars. Quentin bought his bike with Royal Enfield engine bars on. I bought mine from an aftermarket brand, honestly one for the cheapest, and they do the job. The bike fell a few times and the engine didn't break, so it's a success. Quentin's bike came with luggage racks and panniers. Mine doesn't have that. I have rackless saddlebags, and I'm not very happy with that, to be very honest. I do like soft saddlebags better, but I feel even though mine are rackless, racks would have been very useful, because over time, I think they are not like also the best quality, but over time they tend to bend and get way too close to the rear wheel. Both our bikes also have a USB charger directly on the handle. Mine also has a cigarette lighter kind of plate on the side to charge my external battery. Everything is plugged directly on the battery. We didn't do anything fancy, plugging it to the light or anything, because we didn't know how to do that. But it works. We have a switch. We forgot to turn it off once we ran out of battery. That's a mistake you do once and then you remember. And last thing, we ordered some light guard to protect the front light. They didn't arrive in time, so we don't have them, and I think it's still necessary because Quentin had a crack on his light after a few weeks and it became a little bit bigger, so for the moment we just have some tape over it. Well, no bike is perfect, and the Himalayan 2 has some quirks we had to deal with on the road. The first thing, it's not the fastest bike. It's good enough, but like for example, when you try to pass someone quickly on the highway, on when it's a little bit steep, on when there's a little bit of wind, we struggle. And when all the conditions are good on the highway, I think our average speed is around 110 kilometers per hour. Faster than that, it starts to be very not comfortable. The second thing is a chain. We both had to change our original chain. Actually, Quentin even lost his master link on the road. That was a memorable moment, believe me. And we changed them for a riveted master link, so there's no risk to lose anything anymore. And then the electronics started to act a little bit dodgy. There's not a lot of electronics, so it's not a deal breaker or anything. But for example, my little screen doesn't really work anymore. Sometimes blinks, sometimes not, but I don't have access to the gears or the kilometers. It's not a big deal. It's probably just a loose connection, but honestly, I just didn't take time to look into it. And Quentin's bike has the blinkers that don't really blink all the time. So it's just the relay that has to be fixed somehow, and for the moment when it happens, he just has to hit a precise point on the back and it blinks again. And then the seats are not exactly the most comfortable. It's good for a few hundred kilometers, but very quickly the butt starts to be sore. But on the bright side, that forces us to take regular breaks. Despite these few quirks, this bike has been an absolute beast when it comes to versatility and durability, and I'm very, very happy with it. So here are the strengths. The first thing is the off-road capability. This bike shines off-road, both with the long travel suspension and the dual sport tires. This bike is an absolutely joy to ride on rock tracks, on sandy tracks, and it's been very reliable. We both did the Dempsey Highway, which is 900 kilometers of dirt road one way that can be very rocky or very sandy, and the bike was clearly in its element. It was just perfect for it. Also, the standing position is very comfortable. That makes it very easy to handle on challenging tracks. And the second thing is been very comfortable on mixed terrain. Even heavily loaded, it's surprisingly comfortable and manageable on dirt roads, and it's still heavy enough to be stable and feel very reliable on the highways. So we feel like we can go everywhere, and that's what we're doing. The third thing is its simplicity. This bike is nothing very fancy. We can maintain it ourselves. We don't need any computer to fix it or anything, so that's exactly what we wanted for this kind of adventure. The fourth thing is, as I already mentioned, is a very budget-friendly bike. It's probably, I would say, the best value for money bike in the adventure category. I mean, $6,000 for a new adventure bike, it's difficult to beat. The last thing is really the reliability. We've been already through a lot with these bikes, through a lot of different conditions, and they have been great. I mean, exceptional. And I'm very confident in them bringing us all the way to Argentina. So yeah, a little bit of love, a little bit of like basic maintenance, but not too much babysitting, and these bikes are just keep rolling. So after more than 20,000 kilometers across North America, I can confidently say that this bike, the Royal Enfield Himalayan, is the perfect companion for this kind of journey. It is not the fastest, not the flashiest bike out there, but it's built to endure, it's easy to maintain, it's incredibly versatile. Through rugged terrain or like very long and boring highways, this bike does everything with ease. So would I recommend it for a long distance adventure rider? Fuck yeah! Thank you for tuning in. Let me know in the comments if you have ridden a Himalayan or if you're considering buying one for a long journey and what you think about it. And please subscribe to follow the journey because we still have a long way to go. Cheers!